Bria here, and tonight I'm glad to go live with you guys to talk about a really good topic. So, we're going to be talking about some 10 benefits of living in a car, which includes financial and social. So, I've kind of broke them in half as far as like 5 of them are financial, 5 of the other pros are social. So we'll go based off of that. I'll give it a little bit of time for a few more people to join us in the chat. But I'm really excited to talk about this with you guys tonight. It's been just a little bit before I've done a live stream. I know everybody's getting ready for holiday time, for Christmas, for celebration and spending time with their families. So whoever can join me tonight, I super appreciate it. And hopefully this information will be really good for anybody joining this chat who might be living an alternative lifestyle, specifically living in a car, and we'll go from there. So yeah, I have written in my iPad the 10 benefits. And for whatever reason, I can't figure out how to split my screen, which I've been doing before, but it's not working. I think because I messed with my settings earlier today, but I'm going to have to like flip back and forth between my list and the actual live chat. So hopefully you guys will stick with me. I'm sorry if it takes me a minute to get to your chat, but I will get there. I just want to make sure that I'm covering all the content for this video because I feel like it's going to be a really good one and it's good information that people need. So I want to hop right into it. I see that we have like 14 people in the chat. So excuse me, before I get started, I'll just say hey to everybody in the chat, and then I'll just move right on into our first benefit of living in a car. So like I said, let me switch screens so I can see my chat really quick. Let me see. I gotta pull it up. I thought I had it up. Technical difficulties.
At Domino's, you can get more than just amazing, delicious pizza. There's also
ads. Can't complain. Thank God I even have an ad on my video. But anywho, I see we have D's Nuts. I told you I don't like your name, but I love when you come to my live stream. What's up? It's good to see you too. What's up, Minivan Venturing? I've been noticing some of your latest posts. I need to catch up on some of your videos, but I love what you're doing. I love your content, and I think a lot of people are going to benefit from it. So thank you so much for joining my live stream. I feel honored. What's up, Follows Keys Tracks? She's always in here supporting. Appreciate you. Love you, sis. Deesna says, be careful in the storm and enjoy your holiday. So I'm actually going to be driving to Myrtle Beach from Georgia for the Christmas holiday. So I'm looking forward to that. I've been looking forward to a road trip. I need the time off. I haven't seen the beach this entire year. And I'm someone who like regularly goes to the beach every year. Like I have to see it. So it was so weird for me for like in the past, probably I would say 6 years or so. Like I haven't seen the beach just this year, but I saw it every 6 years before. So I'm really excited to get a beach trip in, even if it's in December. I know it's gonna be like super cold and windy, but I have an Airbnb, so at least I'll be indoors with like heat and everything, and hopefully I'll get some really cool content for you guys to see and some nice beach footage, even though it's a little bit cold. So yeah, everybody stay safe out here. I heard the temperatures are about to drop drastically, so of course be on your P's and Q's, and if you can, stay indoors. HD Waller says, hello, I live an alternative lifestyle too. That's awesome. You're always welcome to join this community. If you're not familiar with my Discord, check out the community tab in my channel. I recently posted a Discord link where you can join our chat servers. There's a bunch of different alternative lifestyle people in there talking about a bunch of different things and offering a bunch of different resources, so it might be a good place for you. And of course, if that link has expired, which it does, guys, just reach out to me. I regularly try to post a new link every few days so that new people can join into the server. But yeah, I'm like the biggest promoter of it. I'm like, hop into the Discord because Of course, I do live streams. I do vlogs that you guys can see my day in the life and things like that. But the Discord is where we literally talk on a day-to-day basis. Like, I get on the Discord every morning. I say what's going on. I try to see what everybody's up to and make sure everybody's safe. And right now the community is at about like 30 to 40 people, but I would love to just see it grow and blossom to a place where if you really want that community feel, that connection, you can come to this Discord, you can get resources, and heck, eventually we're even going to do some meetups, some meet and greets, some support groups in person. So I look forward to all of that after having built this Discord group. So yeah, without raving on it too much, because I love my Discord, check out the link in the community tab. There's also a link in the about section of this channel, and of course if it's expired, just send me a comment and I'll post a new link for you. Let's see. Richard E's Railroad Video says, hey girl, how are you? I'm here listening to you. Hey Richard, thanks for coming to join us. What's up, Chad Ramsey? Follow Key's track said, let's give my sis some likes. Yes, please. If you guys are enjoying the content, if you're here listening, give it a like. I appreciate it. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why aren't my likes like equivalent to the amount of people watching? But I understand not everybody just continues on and listens to the content and is really interested. But if you are, hit that like button. It definitely helps me out to get my videos promoted through the algorithm. So thanks, Key. Young Don Kev says, what's your IG? Check out my channel description in my about section. It has my additional social medias where you can hit me up there. Hey, OG's in here. Hey. Chad, you're watching from Oklahoma City. What's the weather like over there? Is it snowing? Is it the temperatures dropping for the holiday? You know, what's going on in Oklahoma City? Richard E's Railroad's video says it's 5 degrees in Chicago and minus 25 below zero on the wind chill. I believe you. I don't doubt it at all. I was in Chicago like a few months ago and it was beautiful, but it was cold at night. So I can't even imagine what the weather's like right now. I'll pray for you and stay warm. All right, y'all, let's get into this list. So basically, I came up with a list of 10 benefits, whether financial or social, that you get from living car life, that you get from living in your car. I think this is a really good stream, important stream, because a lot of people are considering living in their car or not. They're not sure if they want to do it. They're not sure if they're willing to kind of like break the chain of like whatever they've been doing already. So I want to offer a video that gives some of those benefits to, you know, just kind of push a few people along. Like if you're thinking about trying this lifestyle, if you're interested in it, there are benefits to it. You can weigh them according to your lifestyle. So number one, which to me is like an obvious one, is you can save. So I say that because living in your car, you're not paying rent. That money that you put towards rent, everybody knows that's like probably the biggest bill that you have. I might be wrong depending on your lifestyle, but most people I know, the biggest bill that they have is their rent. And if you don't have to pay rent because you live in a car, obviously the money that you would typically be paying on rent, you can now save that money. So I know a lot of other people who had an apartment, had a full-time job, had a car, living the typical life of what we're expected to have, and could not save. Horrible at saving. If there was an emergency situation that really happened, like, they're praying it didn't happen, because the odds are they do not have the money, honey. So I've seen so many people like that living in rental lifestyles where you're good in the eyes of society because you have a car, you have a job, you have an apartment. But if you look at your bank account, it's like you don't have any space for mistake. There's no room for mistake at all. It's like my savings account is not there. If I break my pinky toe, I don't know. If my car goes off the into a ditch, I don't know. You know, like there's certain things that could happen in your life that you're just like, I can't afford to replace that. So if you're willing to say, well, I can't afford to save or replace things that are important to me, but I have an apartment, then okay, then maybe it works for you. But I feel like a lot of people out there are like, I have an apartment or I have a rental property and literally my life depends on it. As long as I have this, I have somewhere to stay, but everything else can come crashing down and I wouldn't know what to do. And I feel like that's definitely a benefit of living in the car because you're going to save money. Just imagine, insert whatever you've been paying for rent into your savings account. And just imagine how different your life will be. You know, like even if you're not somebody who spends a lot of money or travels a lot or anything, just imagine what your savings would be like if you were not paying for rent. So that's my number one benefit of living in the car. And I don't care what nobody says, that rental fee, that rental bill, anyone who could have that money back in their pockets, I guarantee you they would. I guarantee you they would be like, thank you, put it back. Like, we all are just accustomed to feeling like, okay, at the end of the month, I know a certain lump sum of money is no longer mine. And I'm just hardwired to think that that's okay. A lot of times, that's half of what people make in the month goes to their rent, you know? So I feel like we kind of have to deprogram ourselves and really ask ourselves, like, is giving half of my time, my earnings, is giving half of my money worth what I'm getting in return for having an apartment? A lot of us would probably rather see our savings account stack up a little bit than be dealing with apartments that the price goes up every year and I can't even tell you what they changed or renovated or did better about them. So that's my number one. Saving money by not paying rent. So let's see what y'all got to say in the chat about it before we move on to the next topic. Let's see. Me, myself, and my car says, yep, getting cold everywhere. Minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit here. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I have a lot of different friends or colleagues that work in different states, and I've been hearing that the temperature has been dropping drastically. It's not even in a matter of like, oh, it's just the winter, it's getting cold. It's been more so like overnight, it went from being slightly warm to just being like drastically cold. Someone told me, I don't know if it was Key in our Discord, and I think also one of my coworkers told me that the temperature is going to drop drastically in Georgia on Christmas Day. I don't know if they have a weather machine. You know, like, I don't want to talk about it, but I'm just like, I just don't understand how we can go from being like 60 degrees one day to like 30, 20 degrees the next. I don't know, but we're rolling with the punches, and everybody just stay warm. We're going to make it through this year, and 2023 is going to be even better. So I don't know. I think we can fight some cold. I think as human beings, we're made to deal with a little bit of cold, you know. It's in our nature. Like, even if we're not covered in hair, like my pet cat, like we got, you know, jackets and clothing items to keep us, you know, held over and survive. Like, there are people living out on the streets who are going to survive till next year. So I guarantee you, anybody in slightly an indoor environment is going to be okay. Just, you know, layer up. Layer up. What's up, Lordell? Lordvel 1993. What's up, love? I messed your whole name up. I'm sorry. Chad Ramsey says the weather is really crazy right now, especially we're supposed to have a winter Arctic blast. Yeah. I'm not looking forward to that. I wonder if it's just going to affect like certain parts of the country or certain parts of the, you know, globe, whatever. But Everybody just buckle up. 2023 is going to be interesting, but I definitely feel like it's going to be more fun than 2022. I don't know about y'all, but I've been like ready to move on. This year went by so fast, but at the same time, I'm like ready to move on. I'm ready to get to the next year. I'm ready to get to my new adventures. I'm ready to get into just more excitement. Like, I'm just bored. Honestly, I'm just bored with this year and I'm ready to move on. All right, let's see. Everybody's kind of just agreeing with the fact that the weather's being really weird. So I'm glad we're all on the same page about that. What's up, Antoine Lyons? Thanks for joining us. And we got Hotel Honda in the building. Haven't seen you in a while, sis. Thanks for joining us. So let's move into that number 2 benefit of living in a car. So on my list, I have the number 2 benefit of living on a car. It's comparable to number 1. It kind of just rolls right off the back of decreased bills related to rentals. So decreased bills related to renting an apartment or a living dwelling. We all know that when you rent an apartment or somewhere to live, it's not just your rent that you have to pay. We all know that there are literally several bills that rack up on top of that, determined by where you live and your circumstances. So off the top of my head, I can tell you guys that when I did have a rental apartment, the bills that I had to add on top of that were water, electricity, gas, Wi-Fi, renter's insurance, pest and trash control. And then there were several other small, like, administrative fees that the leasing office decided to charge you for typing up what your bill was for the month. You know, like, oh, $5 for us telling you what your bill is. And I'm like, okay. So you guys can see on 2 hands, that's 7 bills in itself that I had to take on based off of renting a property. So we all know that bills rack up very easily. I can say that those bills very easily could equal up to $500. Depending on the circumstances, could be more or less, you know, but knowing that, okay, on top of me paying rent, there's already this known bills that I have to pay that just come with it, you know? So when I left my apartment, when I stopped paying rent, it wasn't just that I stopped paying the rent. I stopped paying the gas. I stopped paying electricity. I stopped paying water. I stopped paying renter's insurance. Some people out here paying cable, you know, like there are a lot of bills that are associated with having a home. If we even want to go deeper into it, we can talk about people who are paying bills for rental furniture. You bought this nice, wonderful living room, dining room set to fill up this beautiful apartment space or home space that you're paying $2,000 on, that you're paying off monthly. That's not something that you would acquire living in a car. So I can't even just say, oh, well, living in a car, I don't have to pay rent. It's not just the rent, y'all. There are a lot of bills associated with having rental properties that you don't even think about. When you get all of that off your chest, oh my God, like you feel so free. You're just like, dude, all I have to pay this month is my car insurance and my Spotify and my Netflix. Like it's not the same. I want people to really acknowledge the fact that people living in their car aren't just doing it because they're homeless and they don't have money. Some people living in their car really recognize the fact that, like, yo, why am I paying? If I'm trying to save money, why am I paying all this money? At least if for a time period. I truly don't look at myself like someone's going to live in their car for the rest of their life. I don't see it that way at all. I think that as I grow, as I develop, I want a family one day. Like, who knows? I might have a home, but truthfully, more than anything, I want to own property. Regardless of if you agree with that or not, that's the way this world works. I want to own property. So think about it, guys. It's not just rent. It's all the bills that are associated with rent, right? And everything that comes with filling up that space. You need a dining room set, you need kitchen appliances, you need bathroom and toilet paper and all these things that you really just wouldn't need in your car. If you're really just taking care of yourself, those things are not the biggest thing on your list of bills. You get what I'm saying? If you can alleviate rent and then the bills that come with rent, where could you be financially? That's my question to you guys. So, again, let's hop in the chat before I get to the next one, because I want to see what you guys are saying about the number 2 topic, which is utilities and bills associated with having rental properties. All right, let's see. Me, myself, and my car says, if you're saving money living in a car, make sure you save the damn money. Don't spend. I agree 100%. One thing that's helped me is that living in a car, I spend most of my money on food. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I love to eat. I don't cook all the time because I live in a car. When I have a chance to come inside like I am now and use like my friend's kitchen and stuff, I will cook. But most of the time I'm not really cooking like how I used to when I have my own apartment. So I feel like other than spending money on food, like, I save money. I don't have the space to just consume and buy a bunch of stuff because I live in the car. Like, it's limited space, you know? So I feel you 100%. And I think even one of the topics on my list is going to dive a little bit deeper into that topic. Follow Key's track said, good riddance to buying and moving furniture. You will not be missed. Yes, I agree 100%. One of the worst things in my life that I dreaded was moving day. When I had to move to another apartment or move somewhere, like, oh my God, the whole process of packing everything up, breaking everything down, selling things, throwing away things, lugging things into a U-Haul. A lot of times I didn't even have enough money to hire people to do that. So I literally had to do that myself with like my homeboys, you know? I'm drenched in sweat. I'm literally lifting up furniture heavier than 2 times my body, trying to get into a U-Haul to move to another location. Like, I will never miss those days. Like, I'm good. I pull up with my car, I hop out, I'm like, what's up? What we doing? Oh, we done? Oh, I'm going to bed. Okay. I'm just like, okay, what we do? Okay, I'm done. I don't have to feel that burden of just carrying so much stuff on your back. And even if that stuff is not physically with you at the moment, it's mentally with you. Like, in your mind, you're like, I have a whole storage room or a whole home or a whole apartment just full of stuff that is I'm responsible for, you know? And I'm like, there's so many people out here who have storage rooms full of stuff that they don't even touch in a year. They don't touch it. It's just there for whenever they may possibly need it. I just tried to change my lifestyle in a way where I'm just like, I have everything that I need. And if something arises that I need, I have the money to go and get it. And I feel like that's worked out best for me. So if I had to go to, like, let's say some event where I need to dress nicer or, you know, doll myself up a little bit more, I'm going to go and get me an outfit. I'm going to go and get, you know, my makeup done or something like that because I can afford that because I'm not paying rent and a bunch of utilities and a bunch of other stuff that's like taken away from it. But at the same time, I don't feel the need to have all those items within my possession at all times just in case I may need them. It's like you're gonna have the money or the resources to get anything you need at all times. So I love that 100%. I agree with that 100%. I will not be missing furniture, storage, rentals, any of that stuff. I'm good with the little stuff I hold in my car and I take along with me, and I've been doing fine with that. Nomad Man said, paying them to type what my rent will be? Yeah, they can kick rocks. Yes. Say it again. They can kick rocks. I remember a time period where I don't really think that was the case. It was like, this is your rent, get a money order, pay your rent, you're done. Now, when they like switched over to like online billing and all that, it was like, oh, we need to charge you because we had to type up in the system what your bill was. And we had to, like it's like a service fee. And I was like, ma'am, I can look at my leasing contract and see what my bill is. I don't need you to type that up. If there's a bill coming from an alternative company like water, power, gas, they're going to do it. I don't know how we ended up paying leasing office agents to sit on their booties in the leasing office because I don't know what maintenance orders they're writing up. I've lived in so many apartments where these folks didn't show up for maintenance orders back to back to back. But you guys have time to charge me to type up what bills I owe you? And so many people are just like, just shelling out money every month. Like, here you go, here you go. I just want a place to stay. I just want somewhere to call home. And I'm like, that will never be your home, honey. If you're getting land or actually trying to get a home, investing in a home property, I feel you. I'm not hating on it. Like, even the friend I'm staying with now is investing in this property to become their own home. So many people, majority of people are renting apartments, condos, insert whatever you want, and they will never own them. They're just contributing to someone else getting rich and then at the same time getting ripped off. I'm like, I don't mind contributing to you getting rich if maybe I can benefit from it. But at some point, it's like, no one's benefiting from this. Like, who's benefiting from this at this point? Like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. I could go on for days and ages about how much I feel like just the rental situation, especially in America, is completely asinine. But let's continue through our list. All right, so number 3 on the list of benefits to living in a car. And like I told you guys, the first 5 benefits I wrote are very financial and the last 5 are very social. So if in the financial aspect, that's not really a concern of yours, stick with me a little bit longer to the end so we can hear those social benefits. But yeah, let's get into the number 3 financial benefit, which I wrote as this: living in your car is a faster route to vehicle ownership. Vehicle ownership means asset ownership. I'm going to take a drink on that one. Hold on. I need to slather my palate. So really hear me on that one, guys. It's a faster route. Number 3 benefit. Living in your car is a faster route to vehicle ownership, which is asset ownership. So let's think about that. Most people, especially in the state that I live in, Georgia, absolutely depend on driving a vehicle. It's not a state where you can really get away with not having a car unless you have a job or live within the MARTA line, which is very centralized, localized to the city of Atlanta. So a lot of people who come to Georgia, visit Georgia, they imagine Atlanta being so much bigger. But no, it's literally the city within the trees. It's a city, and everywhere outside of it is suburbs and very rural. So a lot of people here depend on having a vehicle, right? There are many other states that you can go to where having a vehicle, you probably don't need to have it, or it might even be more of a hassle. For example, Chicago or LA. These are cities that we know are like super busy, super traffic, a lot of issues going on with just like the transportation system, as far as like you may want to take an alternative option other than driving. Atlanta is like this weird medium in between that, where it's like the city, yes, we do get a lot of traffic, but you cannot survive outside of the city if you do not have a vehicle. So I know it's different for everybody depending on what state, city, country, wherever you are, but I'm speaking based off of where I am. So since I was 17 years old, I've had a vehicle. I went to college in Georgia. I had to drive to college. I kind of split my time between half driving, half taking public transportation. I would often park my vehicle at like a MARTA station and use the public transit to kind of help with the cost of like gas and things like that. But as an adult, I immediately transferred into driving full time. Taking MARTA wasn't really an option for me. Taking public transportation wasn't really an option for me unless I was willing to sacrifice a good 2 to 4 hours of my life per day. So let's say driving to work took me 30 minutes. If I were going to take public transportation, that might take an hour and a half to 2 hours. So those are things that you have to kind of consider when you're like, okay, maybe I don't need a car. I could just take public transportation, and you're literally wasting your life away. Or you could be like, I'm going to get a car and I'm just going to drive to work, and you're literally just sitting in traffic and like, what is the point of this? So that's kind of what I've experienced. But overall, I can say that living in an apartment has never helped me to maintain ownership of my car. I've had my car since 2015. So we're getting real close to that 10-year mark. My car itself is 10 years old. It's a 2013. Now, I've managed to keep the mileage low on my car, but sometimes you have to ask yourself, you're like, is it worth just keeping a car that's in great condition with low mileage that I'm paying the bare minimum on, that the odds of me owning are years and years and years, maybe even 10 years out, while I'm paying rent for something, paying 5 times as much money towards my rent as I would be towards my car that I can own for something that I will never own. So I want you guys to really think about that. For anybody out there who has a car note, who is working to own their car, who is hoping that one day when they're done paying off all these car notes, that car will be in their name and they'll own it and you can sell it or you can keep it, like whatever you want to do. For anybody out there in that position, ask yourself, how much faster could I have paid off my car note if I wasn't paying rent? Like, I'll wait, you know? Everyone's rent, I know, is different depending on what area you live in, your circumstances. But if we had to say on average, and I think in this day and age, this is a pretty good average because shit's expensive. Let's not lie. If you paid on average $1,000 a month for your rent, and you had a car, because you live in a place like Georgia, like I said, where you need a car, so you have both, right? If you stop paying that $1,000 a month and you put that on top of what you've been paying for your car. So I'm not saying, oh, let's just scratch out what you've been paying. No, let's say you've been paying $200 for your car every month, your car note. And let's say you've been paying $1,000 for rent. You decide, I'm not going to pay rent anymore. I'm just going to live in my car and I'm just going to pay my car note. But now that I'm not paying rent, I can add extra onto my car note. Imagine if you were putting an extra $1,000 on your car note every month, how fast you could pay off that car note and own an asset. A lot of people who aren't good with handling money, never really had a lot of money, don't really know how to manage it. These are the things we don't think about, you know? It's like, oh, I'm going to get a car. I'll pay it off eventually, you know? While you're living in the nicest apartment in your area, you're never going to own that apartment. So just think about it. I'm like, even if you didn't put that whole 1,000, maybe just put 500. But truthfully, at the end of the day, if we're willing to shell out $1,000+ several thousands of dollars to have an apartment or a property that we will never own, why can't we put that same money and invest it into ourselves, which would be a vehicle, but because that would be an asset. Once you own your car, that is your car. You do with it as you please. You might be able to drive all around this country with it, or you might sell it and move on and buy you a better one. Like, it doesn't matter, but you will never invest thousands of dollars into an apartment and get it back. It's just a fact. And I wish most people would wake up and see that. I'm like, you're not better than someone because you have a nice living situation. If anything, you're more in debt than them. I could live in my car and be like, next year, I own this vehicle and I can use the money that I was paying to pay for this vehicle every month, a car note, and now I can invest that into some other aspect of my life, you know? So I just want people to start realizing that living in your car can be an asset. If you can pay off your car note, if you're actually in a position to pay it off, or if you're somebody who's living in their car and you don't own a car note, that is like, that's gold. Like, that's where I wish I was. I was like, I wish I could move into my car. I'm not paying nothing on a car note. I'm just paying car insurance and my gas, blase, blase, you know? And I'm paying off my little debt in the background. And before you know it, I'm moving on. I'm getting me a truck. I'm doing this, that, and the third, because I have big dreams for this minimalism, alternative lifestyle, you know, like plans that I have. Like, I want to build a shed. I want to get a truck. I want to have like a RV. I want to drag a trailer. Like, there's so many things I want to do. And I recognize that how could you do those things if all of your money and energy is going into paying to make someone else money by paying rent, you know? Like, people really got to wake up and recognize that. If it's a choice of yours, if it works for your lifestyle, cool. Different things work for different people. But we got to stop looking down on other people, holding other people down for doing what makes their lifestyle better. If you don't need to be paying rent, don't. That's what I could say. And if somehow, which I'll wait, if somehow rent benefits you, let me know. Because I've yet to meet someone who's like, yeah, I'm paying rent and this is making my life better. Like, we find ourselves in the rat race, you know? So that was number 3. It's a faster route to vehicle ownership, asset ownership, which is something you definitely want to consider when just growing and evolving in the future, adulting, investing, all those things. It's like having an asset adds to your status as a person. So it's something to consider. So what y'all got to say in the chat, because that was long-winded. Let me see. I got to go back a little bit. Hold on, y'all. This shit going faster than I thought. Okay, hold on. Nothing specific says truth. Most Americans don't even have $400 saved for an emergency. Exactly. That's what I was saying. A lot of people don't have a savings. And living in your car can definitely help you with that. Let me see. Hotel Honda says car life is trucking life. I think we're all part of the same community, but I definitely think there's some different resources and perspectives that trucking life people can share versus the car life people. So yeah, I definitely want to be open to those different perspectives. I've had people tell me, oh, get your CDL, drive trucks, and it's just not for me. So I feel like there's something about those lifestyles that people can share with us, different from just living in your car, you know? And we have to kind of like honor all the different aspects of alternative living, right? So it's not even just about living in a car. You got people who are living in sheds, tents. You got people living in motels. Like, there's so many different things going on. I just want to make it as inclusive as possible. Let me see. I think I went back too far, honestly. Antoine Lyons says you might want to pay off your property and your home. So there's some people who are interested in this lifestyle who have properties and homes, and then there's a lot of people who don't. So if I had a property or home, I'd probably honestly build off of it. But then again, I don't have a property or home, so who am I to say that? But I would imagine that a lot of like car life or like nomad life people aren't against the idea of having property. I think a lot of people are just against the idea of renting and just wasting all your money, you know? Let me see. Fall Keys Track says, don't forget about realtor fees, paying $1,000 for them to list the unit and you find it, complete scam. Yes. So, like I said, my friends who live here, they have this home, and I watched them go through the whole process of like having to pay thousands of dollars to get the home. And I was like, not like, I was like, not only do you have to pay all this money to have the home, mortgage the home, but you have to pay all this money just to get it. Like, what in the world? Like, it's just a complete, like, I just wish someone would break it down. That's all. I'm like, if I could have like a little educational session where some professor, somebody just breaks it down. Why are we charging people all this? Like, I just don't get it. It seems like a complete ripoff to me, but maybe I'm overlooking something. I don't know. Hotel Honda says cars are not assets. Cars definitely depreciate, but in regards to me saying assets, I'm talking to ownership. You can own a car, and that car has value. It may not have as much value depending on like the year of the car, the mileage on the car, things that like that. But like if you own a car, it has value. There's no value that's added to you by having an apartment. Having an apartment doesn't really help you in any way. But if you can show that you own 4 or 5 vehicles that are paid off, that does a lot for your credit. That does a lot for different things. So I would argue in our definition of what an asset is, but I do think that owning a car brings a lot more to you financially than renting an apartment. Follow Keys Track says a house is not an asset either unless you own it. That's kind of like my point. Like when I'm talking about assets, I'm talking about ownership. So things that you own, like when people, like when they go to say, how much is this person worth? What is this person's net worth? That's based off the worth of the things that you own. There are like majority of the people in the world who don't own anything. You rent everything. Like what you own has no worth to it. You know, so I'm like, you can own an iPhone from 3 years ago and it's worthless. You know, like you can own a laptop, you can own, like these things don't really matter. I feel like to a certain extent, when you start getting into cars, properties, you know, things like that. I'm sorry, my eyes are itching. You can't really scratch your eyes, you know, so I'm just like, oh my God. But yeah, whatever. The long story short, what I'm trying to say is that people living in your cars, pay off your car notes, own your car. There's a lot more things that you can do after having done that. Get out of the rat race of paying bills. And the same with people who are trying to own property or homes, pay them off, get them in your name, start to have the benefits of actually owning things. And that's what I mean by having assets. Keys Track says biggest thing is cars losing value while a house gains value when you get to the point of selling. Yeah, that's why I mentioned like, yeah, I understand completely that cars depreciate, but think about it. Play the game, right? Play the game. Not everyone has the resources to own a house right now. It takes a long time to own a house unless you just have the money for it, right? So when it comes to having a car, typically it might be easier to, I don't know. I might be argued about this, but in my head, I'm like, it's probably easier for me to pay off my car than it is to start a new mortgage and try to pay off a house, right? But on one end, people like to have something like a car that depreciates and sits on it. So for example, like I said, my car is a 2013 Hyundai Sonata. It's a 10-year-old damn near car. It only has 100,000 miles on it. In the language of cars, it's really good. It's really good. And that's because I sat on it. I barely drove it. I did a couple road trips, but because I work from home, I've been able to sit on it for majority of the time. I only drive it to like a store, drive to where I'm parking at, drive to a friend's house. I don't really drive it like on a regular basis. So I've saved a lot of mileage on it, right? So when you look at the specs of this car, you're like, wow, this car is pretty good. It's only 100,000 miles on it. Wow, that's crazy. It's a 10-year-old car, right? No, it still depreciates. It's still depreciating. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is like, if you're going to have a vehicle, which most of us have, especially if you live in a place like Georgia, why wouldn't you use it, live in it, capitalize off of it? You're going to be paying for it. At the end of the day, you're probably going to own it versus you putting time, energy, money into a property that you probably will never own. Let's be honest, because everyone out here can say like, oh, I'm living in a house, I'm living in a townhouse, I'm living here. A lot of these people are just renting it. You are not in a position to try to own this property. And if you are, kudos to you, because that's where we should be. That's all I'm saying. Oh, let me see. And with that being said, I don't want a house. I want land. I've been saying that in like the past like 4 videos now. I'm like, I'm not interested in buying some house and paying it off. I'm interested in buying some land. If I have to work with a bank, if I have to save up for several years, like I want something of my own land. I can build my own. I don't need anyone to build it for me and me pay you off because it's my dream home. Like, you can't build my dream home because I can only do that. So that's my goal. But I do respect a lot of people out here who are invested in home ownership, even car ownership, because I don't care about the depreciation part of it, honey. If I keep my car good, my car's gonna keep running. Like, I will always have a place to live. I will always have a place to stay as long as I take care of that vehicle, regardless of what Blue Book says, Kelly Book, whatever you guys want to insert. Like, that vehicle has worth to it. I will never have that worth in an apartment. It just doesn't work that way. Let me see. I'm sorry, y'all. My eyes are itching so much tonight. I can barely see the chat. Chad Ramsey says, yeah, you're right about Georgia. It's a state with a lot of trees. And also in Atlanta, Georgia, they also have 6 lanes and it's filled with a lot of black people. I guess Black Wall Street of the South. I guess so too, Chad. That's nothing new, though. Brother Gladly, you don't even have a profile picture. If you want to judge me for how I look, at least put your profile picture so I can judge you for how you look. Appreciate you. Moving on. Nomad Man says, I saved a shitload of money living in my vehicle. That's the goal. What'd you do with that savings of shitload of money? Did you do something fun? Did you travel? Like, if we're going to save so much money, like, I hope we got some growth coming from it. Richard E's Railroad video says, paying high-ass rent is what keeps many living paycheck to paycheck. Exactly. That's how they want you, though. They want you to live paycheck to paycheck. They want you to keep constantly comparing yourself with other people and what they have, when in reality, these people don't have anything. Everyone's renting. Everyone's consuming products that are going to end up in the trash receptacles or the freaking ocean somewhere. So I'm like, when it comes to people who really, really have money, we don't even really see them like that. Let's be honest. We don't see them. We got to get out of this mindset of just consumption, and get on to, like, what is going to grow? What is going to grow you? What is going to get to the next phase? So I'm all for it. Okay, guys, let's move on because I realized I could rant a lot. We're already 47 minutes in. I think I'm only on number 4 out of 8. So I guess that's pretty good. We're like halfway through. Let's see. Number 4, to the 10 benefits of living in a car, financial, either social. This is another financial benefit, which kind of rolls off the last one. Living in your car is a faster route to debt reduction. So similar to how I said living in your car is a faster route to paying off your car, it's a faster route to debt reductions. So the same that you can save money, you can pay off your car, you can also pay off debt. So if you're somebody who has a lot of loan debt, school debt, credit card debt, anything like that, living in your car, the same money that would have been going towards your rent, you could be putting that towards your debt. So imagine you have $5,000 in credit card debt. You were paying $1,000 a month in rent. You decided to live in your car, and now that thousands of dollars a month in rent is going back in your pocket. Let's act like that never existed. Let's just put it towards your debt, And same with the car, pay off debt. There's so many people who are stuck in like a cycle of, I can only pay the bare minimum amount, and then they charge me interest, and then I'm just stuck. It's like you take 2 steps to get 1 step back, Taking 2-3 steps, getting 2 steps back. So I'm hoping that a lot more people can get out of that, especially young people. This lifestyle is great for you. Like, I know it's way more difficult when you have kids, you got family, you got a lot going on, like it's way more difficult. I never say that like this lifestyle is for everybody or works for everybody, especially depending on your resources. But one thing I will say, if you are a single individual, if you are a young individual, preferably in your 20s, consider living in your car if you have a significant amount of debt to pay off. I've seen people go into their 30s and still carrying on college debt and things like that. And I feel like it really, really does hold people back. Many people make it through. Many people are able to overcome it and start a business or do something else with their life, or move on from it. But I've seen so many people just drowning in debt, and the amount of years that it takes to pay off, they've taken so much interest from you, you do not even realize that the debt that you took out, you really took out twice as much. It's like I took out a $5,000 loan for school, and after all these years of paying it off, I didn't pay $10,000, so people really need to wake up and wise up when it comes to paying off debt, any type of debt, whether it's a loan, credit cards, car notes, any of that, pay it off. It's going to be very difficult for you to pay it off when you're paying rent. This lifestyle is not one that I am preaching to anyone to be full-time. Whoever's living this lifestyle full-time, kudos to you. I would love to hang out with you, have a sleepover. But this is not a lifestyle that I even remotely say is for me full-time. This is a lifestyle that I chose because there are places that I want to get in my life that I just cannot see me getting there in the time frame that I want to get there without not paying rent. So yeah, think about it, guys. Whether it's saving, paying off your car, paying off your debt or your loans, credit cards, choosing car life, it's a good option. Even if you could do it for a short period of time. Even if you're like, look, I'm going to live car life for the next 6 months. Boom. In that 6 months, I'm about to stack this money, pay off this one bill. Boom. When I get back from that, I'm going to be in a way better position. When I get my apartment, I'll be way better off. It won't be as stressful. Like, that's fine too. I'm not completely against apartments, but it's just like you need to be able to afford it. I think the problem is most of us cannot afford it. And we're all just walking around, living life, working, pretending like we can afford to live in an apartment when everyone's broke. Yeah. Oh my God. Let's see. Clarissa Caldwell said, how much did I miss? I just arrived. You didn't miss too much, maybe just about half. Make sure you catch the playback. But we're just talking about some benefits to car life, and hopefully some of them benefit you. Nomad Man says, I don't want land or home. I can park at such amazing places. I feel you 100%, but wouldn't it be awesome if we could develop like a community where people like us could come park at? That's what I really want. Like, I'm all about community. I'm like, if I could have some land to fence in, have security, have a social bathhouse, a social kitchen, have parking spots with 10 by 10 or whatever space for you to just do you on your space, and everybody's protected and safe. Like, oh my God, that's like my dream community. That's like my dream community. I'm like, all we need is a bunch of land, one main house for everybody to utilize in a social setting. And then outside of the house, everybody has their parking spots, comes and goes as they please as part of the community, which obviously wouldn't be just anyone. It'd have to be some type of screening there. But that's kind of like my dream, honestly. A nomad life, car life community, van life community, whatever. We've seen like tiny home communities and stuff like that, and I love them. They're so cute, but not everybody wants to be that stationary. So I feel like a car life community, like, what? Do we need to get a parking deck? Like, let's get a parking deck. I'm about to get a loan and rent out a parking deck in the city of Atlanta, and I'm not going to let nobody park there, bro. They're going to pull up like, can I park? I'm like, are you in an alternative lifestyle? I'm like, no, you can't park here then. How lit would that be? Like, come on. All right, let's see. Me, myself, and my car says in 4 months, I'll have my car and my loan paid off. Then it's $2,100 a month. That is mine and I'm debt free. I will still live in my car and bank. Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. Once you get that car paid off, like, it's going to be a whole new world. When you get that check, come take me out to dinner, please. I'm like, I want crab legs, steak, shrimps, everything. Like, when you don't have to pay that car note no more, take me out to dinner, please. Because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm buying a dinner for everybody when I ain't got to pay for this no more. Because this been holding me down since college. I am grown. Clarissa Caldwell says, I completely agree that living in your own vehicle has more pros than cons. Shoot, when you're living in an apartment, they take half your pay. Exactly. Including based on income apartment houses. Yes, like, I can no longer get with the concept of somebody taking half my money and me just sitting there and rolling over and letting them stick it in. I'm sorry for lack of better phrases. I'm like, I work my ass off all month. And then at the end of the month, I roll over and let them just jam one up it. You know, like, I'm just like, no, like, I just can't do that anymore. Even if I have to curl up and sleep in my car, like, that's better than letting you do what you was trying to do. We're not having it no more. And I think so many people are waking up and they're like, me caring about what people think or something is supposed to stop me from not getting reared. You know, like, whatever. I don't care what you think anymore. I'm gonna live in my car and at least I'm not getting reared every month like you. That's how I feel. Moving on. All right, y'all. So the last one for financial benefits, this is number 5 out of the list of 10. So I got to speed up a little bit. I got y'all. Number 5, the last of the financial benefits of living in your car is you're able to invest in yourself more quickly. So I'll keep this one really light and short. Obviously, you're able to save more money if you're not investing that money in paying off debt, paying off a car note, whatever you got to pay off. You can definitely use that money that you would have saved towards investing in yourself. So it doesn't have to be anything super crazy, but I will let you guys know that my entire career of creating content on YouTube, I have been utilizing my iPhone. I've been utilizing my iPhone camera, my iPhone video editing software, which is iMovie. I have not gotten a microphone, an extra camera, nothing. Like, that's it. So I knew, I was like, man, I'm really into this content creating and this videos and stuff. Like, I really just want to step it up a little bit. And I was able to put a little bit of money aside, which I haven't been able to do for years, guys. I'm not even trying to act like this is a big deal, because I'm sure a lot of people do it. But just for me personally, it's like, I'm a very frugal person. And for years, I could not justify purchasing something like this for myself. But having moved into my car and living in my car, it's became something that was kind of like a no-brainer. So you guys always see me on my iPad, you know, talking to you guys, checking the chat, doing whatever. This is something that I didn't have before. Like, I would just sit on my cell phone and just live stream and just figure out, just hope, you know, just hope for the best. And that's something that I wanted to improve my content game. Granted, down the line, I'm going to want to get like a camera, a microphone, things like that. But basically just saying that living in your car, you can start to take those steps to invest in yourself, the dreams, and the things that you want to do. When I was in my apartment, oh, no, wasn't even considering it. I was like, iPad, what? You need to pay rent this month. What are you talking about? What do you even, it was just not even an option, because I was like, rent, iPad, rent, iPad. I was like, pay your rent. Like, I'm just a responsible person. So being able to live in my car and actually start to consider some of those treat yourself options was like a huge like game changer for me. I was like, yo, I wouldn't even really consider this right now because the money is just not there. And when the money was there, because I wasn't paying rent, I started considering a lot more things, honey. A lot more things. So I want you guys all to be able to invest in yourself, live your best life, pay off your debt, get to where you want in life. You know, it's not a full-time thing. Living in your car is not a full-time, I'm devoted to it, I'm never living nowhere else. Like, no, it's just a means to an end. Let's see what living in our car can get us to our next step, our next level up. I'm tired of seeing people in like a revolving door, like in limbo of like, I can't get out of this. I'm still just working and paying rent. Like, try something new. So those are my financial tips, y'all. We're going to transition into my social tips. I'll try to run through those a little bit quicker. But before I go again, let me check the chat. Because I begin so behind in this chat. If I don't like check it, I'm like, whoa. What is going on? Okay, let's see. Clarissa Caldwell says, I completely agree that living in your own vehicle has more pros than cons. Oh my God, I think I already read that one. Yeah, we say your apartment takes half your pay. Yeah, we talked about that one. See, I told y'all I'm just behind. Champ with Cheese, what's up? Thanks for joining us. Ethnic Conservative has jumped into the chat. What's going on? Let me see. Hotel Honda, you be meeting people at Planet Fitness? DM me what Planet Fitness you at. We don't need to blast it on here, but let me know which one you at so I can pull up on you, girl. Clarissa, you love my personality. Thank you so much, love. Definitely check out our community tab. I have a link for our Discord. It's basically a community support chat group for car lifers, alternative lifers. Click on that link. You may need to download the app, but when you get in there, it's a chat group. We talk all night, all day. Like, it's like a family. You can comment in there whenever you want. We'd love to have you. Happy holidays, Champ with Cheese Wilson. I'm not the biggest holiday celebrator. I love me some Halloween. So I wish you guys would go support my Halloween video because it is not getting the most views. Halloween in Miami. But I don't celebrate that many holidays because I'm not the super close with my family. But I love the spirit. So I'll go and buy gifts for people. I'll do things like that. But overall, I just want everybody to stay safe, love on each other, do what you should be doing 24/7, 365. Me, myself, my car says I've been using a 7-year-old phone. I just bought myself a new laptop for my content, but it's too cold in my car to even use it yet. Can't use it until it's warm, maybe March, LOL. Well, have you tried warming it up? Is it just because it's too cold? Maybe you can warm it up somehow. I would be so upset if I was like, I got this equipment I can't use. Like, that would really grind my gears for you. Hope that works out for you. I want to see some content from you. What's up, Aunt Martin? Thanks for stopping by. You said you stopped by before work to say hello. Appreciate it. Love you. Hope you have a good day at work and make some money and have a happy holidays. So let's jump back into our list. We're on our number 6 benefits of living in the car. We're finally moving into the social aspect of this list. So number 6 is living in your car is a benefit because you have a more active lifestyle and you get out of the car more often. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Being more active, right? When I had my apartment, I was paying so much for my apartment that I literally couldn't justify going out. I would be like, girl, you need to stay home, cook you something to eat, watch you a movie, enjoy this apartment that you done bought all this furniture for and did all this for because this is running you a check every month. Like, it's running a bill, you know? So I literally did not enjoy going out when I lived in my apartment. I was like, I'm going out. I'm about to pay all this money for drinks that I could have in my apartment, for entertainment that I could have had in my apartment. I'm salty, you know? And I found myself being a hermit crab. I was a hermit crab. I would literally work the whole week. I work overtime. And then on the weekends, I find some excuse to stay in the house because I didn't want to pay money because I just paid rent and cleared my whole bank account out. So now you want to be like, oh, well, I don't need to go out. I don't need to do this. Like, this is stupid. And no, that's not the case. You can't afford it. Let's be honest. You can't afford it. You just paid rent. And now everybody wants to go out on Friday night. And now you got to make an excuse of why you don't want to go out. Oh, I'd rather stay in my apartment. I got everything I need right here. You know, like, and it's like, You're just making that excuse because the amount of money that you pay to stay there. Literally, I'm like, you're paying all this money to stay here. You'll never own it. But you're paying it to stay here, so you need to kind of like justify it. It's like if I went out and booked an Airbnb right now for this weekend, got to the Airbnb and was like, I'm just going to drive back to Atlanta and sleep in my car. It's like, why did you pay all this money to stay here then, sis? That's how people feel with their apartments. They're like, why am I paying all this money to stay here if I just want to leave? I just want to go out. I just want to be somewhere else at another friend's house. I want to be doing something. I don't want to be at this apartment 365 days a year and pay all this money for it, you know? So social wise, a benefit of not having an apartment, you're more active. You're getting out more, you know? If you live in your car, right? At some point, you're going to want to get out of it. Especially me, like, I work in my car sometimes. So I'm like, when I finish work, I want to get out of the car. I want to go grab dinner. I want to go take a shower. I want to go do something else because I'm in the car. And even if you don't work in the car, it don't take long for you to want to get up out of there. You know? When you're in an apartment or in a home that you're paying for, you're like, I'll just stay here. There's an excuse because you're paying for it, you know? When you're in your car, you're like, look, I can't wait till somebody hit me up. As soon as you hit me up, oh, you want to do this? I'm on the way. Like, you're like, where are we at? Where are we going? Like, you're way more active. Like, again, I became a hermit crab, and I'm a very social person. I think I ride that line between introvert and extrovert. I definitely thrive off my time alone. I need my time alone to function, to grow, to develop, to brainstorm. But I super duper thrive off my time with individuals and the energy that I get from interacting with new people. So, yeah, like, I had to realize that once I got out of the apartment, there was a big difference between my active levels, my engagement levels with other people, how often I went out, how often I was open to just engaging with people in general. Like, when I was in my apartment, I was like, I don't have time. I'm busy. I got to figure out how to pay this rent. I'll talk to you later. You know? And in the car, I'm like, you want to do something? What we doing? Yeah, why not? I'm just paying a car note every month. Like, what you want to do? We'll figure it out. Like, I guess, you know, like, it may work. It may not. Who knows? But it's not that intense level of like, no, I need to pay bills. It's like, okay, I'm open for the experience. So yeah, it just makes you more open-minded. It makes you more active and open to a lifestyle outside of the car. Some people, especially a lot of people who are joining our alternative lifestyles community, I've been trying to tell them like, hey, join the community. Talk to other people. There's other active people out here doing it. You don't have to just stay in your car and be cooped up in your car and not talk to anyone. And be scared and be like, there's no one else here who understands me. There's plenty of people who understand you. Not all of us are extroverts. Some of us are introverts. Some of us are on the line. But there are plenty of people living this lifestyle who you can relate to. And living in your apartment, I guarantee you, you won't meet half of them. I got this from the dollar store, y'all. It's cute, right? It's like a wine cup version of my Yeti cup. It's so cute, right? I keep my water in here. I keep my specials in here. All right. What y'all talking about in the chat? That was number 6, y'all. We got 10. We getting there. We getting there. I'm trying. Let's see. Ethnic conservative says holidays are overrated. I won't argue against that. Some weirdo named Jay Williams said something really appropriate. I'm going to hide it and block him. We'll pray for you. Okay, let me see. Fall Keys Track said, yep, I used to stay in my apartment every weekend and I called it getting my money's worth. A miserable life. Oh my God, I don't miss that, sis. I remember those days. I remember those days where I was like, you know what? It's the weekend. I done worked all week. I'm just going to stay home because At least I won't lose any money. It's like, what a life. Like, think about your car life now and just be like, I don't ever want to go back to that. It's worth it. I'll sleep in my car every night if I have to, just not to go back to, it's worth not doing anything with my life just so I can pay for my rent. Like, come on, man. Clarissa Caldwell said, same. I literally can't afford to go out because I have to pay rent. Oh my gosh. Facts. Okay, so imagine like a lifestyle of that for like 56 years though. They say, oh, when you retire, then you can have fun. My legs may not even work by then. Like, my brain may not work. My arm might be twisted the other way. Like, come on. Like, I can't wait until I retire to start enjoying my life. And I feel like that's kind of what they sell to you. It's like, oh, be miserable now so you can be happy later. I'll take the ticket to anyone who's like, I'll be happy now and see what happens later. How about that? I'll take the ticket to be like, I want to be happy now and I'll risk seeing what happens later because I don't know if I'm going to make it to retirement to try and be happy. You know, it's not worth it, especially at our young age, just being miserable and making other people rich. It's just not worth it. Let me see. Let me get back into the list, y'all, because we're at about an hour and 10 minutes in. I want to get y'all out of here at like an hour and a half at least. Try not to hold y'all too long. But this has been a really good conversation. Like, I'm really surprised. I was kind of concerned when I did this list. I was like, are people going to want to talk about this? But I think it's been a really good conversation. So I believe we were on number 7 out of 10, which is the benefits of living in your car, whether financial or social. We're on a social one. Number 7 is less money is spent on stuff. Excuse me, I had to burp. Sorry, y'all. I'm a very burpy bitch. Number 7, less money is spent on stuff versus experiences. So when I say that, it's like, when I lived in my apartment, I spent thousands of dollars to furnish the apartment on stuff. And the reason why I say stuff is because I don't have none of it with me now. I know some people carry those things along with them, like in storage units and stuff like that. But like I've never been that type of person. I'm throwing it away. But I don't have none of it to show for. None of it with me now. Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of stuff that I put into probably this many apartments over the past 10 years, you know? When I moved out of the apartment, I got into the car, I recognized a big difference in the amount of money that I was spending because I was no longer buying stuff. I lived in my car. I can't fit too much more, you know? I'm not buying a bunch of stuff just to fill the space to make me happy, to make me feel like there's more of a reason why I'm staying home all week and I'm paying half of my money for this apartment because of all this stuff that I have that makes me so happy. And none of it did. None of it did. So moving in the car, definitely a social benefit of it was that I had less stuff. Without that baggage on your head, you're able to just move and be more open-minded and free in a different way. Like, I've had friends who, when it came time for them to move, they were like, oh, well, not only do we need to move my apartment, we need to move my storage unit and all that stuff that's in there. And I just saw the stress on them of like carrying all this weight on you, you know, like whether it's in the stored unit, that weight is on you. Like that property, that baggage, you carry that with you everywhere you go. I don't care where you say, you know. So imagine if life was a race, right? And we're all up against each other. We're all lined up, ready to take off and race. And they said, when we start this race, everything that you own is going to be baggage on you. It's going to be weight on your back. How much do you carry? And I started to ask myself that. I was like, how much do you carry with you on a daily basis? You carrying old furniture, artwork, things from years ago on your back today. You can't compete. You just can't compete. And then we wonder why we're constantly in a state of inability to compete. I can't get ahead. I can't get out of debt. I can't move up. I can't accomplish my dreams. I can't make my goals. It's like, because you're carrying so much weight. Like, we can't be mad at you. We can't be surprised about it. It just is what it is. Anyone who's like, let's race against each other right now, except you're going to hold 50,000 pounds though. And I'm going to just be free-winded. Free as a bird, just flying. Like, you can't say I'm better than you. The only difference is that we carry different amounts of weight. So there's a lot of people who are willing to carry weight. And I think that is reasonable when you have a family. When you have people to carry weight for. There's a lot of us who are just single individuals out here trying to figure out life. Carrying weight, like pounds, hundreds of thousands of pounds, for real, let's be honest. Furniture, clothes, like all type of shit, just carrying it. Like, what has that done to help you? How has that gotten you any farther? Did it make you any money? Like, I can understand if you're like, I'm gonna sell this, I got all these Yeezys that, I mean, you probably should just burn them. I don't even know. But you get the point I'm trying to make. A lot of us carry so much baggage and weight, it's astronomical. And we don't understand why we can't get ahead or we can't get farther, because it's not just physical weight, mental weight, financial weight, spiritual weight. All of that adds up. At the least, probably the easiest one to tackle is physical weight. Stuff. You got so much stuff you can't even focus on what you actually want, you know? What do you want to do with your life? What stuff do you actually need? You don't need 70 pairs of shoes and you only going to wear 15 of them this year. You don't need that. But you might need $70,000. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, you guys. You get where I'm going with it, but stuff. Get rid of your stuff. One of the 10 benefits, social benefits of living in your car is that you have less stuff. Stop worrying about stuff. You can't carry all that stuff unless you're just going to rent out several storage units. Otherwise, not having all that stuff is going to let you focus that energy and that time on relationships, growth, benefiting yourself, opportunities, things you couldn't have thought about before because you're just so concerned about maintaining all this stuff. So that's number 7, y'all. Spend less money on stuff. Spend more money on experiences. I've been able to travel more than I thought I could. I've been able to have experience I never thought I would have. Like, let me think of an example. Well, I think a good example was not that long ago. Like, I went to Miami. I went to the Everglades, and I got to eat alligator and frog legs. I ate some frog legs in New Orleans. It was cool. You know? Well, no, I'm sorry. I ate some alligator bites in New Orleans. I never had eaten frog legs. So when I went to the Miami Everglades, I thought it was just like a cool little natural experience. But no, it was like a whole, like, I felt like I was in a whole different planet or something. Like, it wasn't that expensive, but it was something I was able to do to take the time off, book the flight, book the tour, go there and have this experience that I would have never ultimately had if I was spending money on buying random stupid shit that I don't need, you know? I don't have a lot of stuff that I own. I own everything in my vehicle, but I'm typically able to do more activities and more life awakening things, more open-minded things, more things that make you grow because I don't have all that baggage. So yeah, I know that was long-winded, but I hope that makes sense. It's like spend less money on stuff, spend more money on experiences, adventures, opportunity. You never seen the ocean? Go to the ocean. You want to bungee jump? Bungee jump. You scared of animals? Go pet an animal. You never been out of this country? Go out of the country. You never seen the beach? Go to the beach. You know what I'm saying? Like, do those experiences versus spending money on just stuff. To just say, I have all this stuff accumulated in this property that I own that doesn't matter. That's just weight on my back. That's going to stop me from doing anything actually productive. Yeah. Let me see. Me, myself, and my car says, if you're living in your car, take this opportunity to fix yourself. It's going to change you anyway, so use the momentum. Yes. I look at living in my car as a growing opportunity. I don't look down on anybody living in their car, but I feel like we've heard people like Oprah or like big name people who lived in their car and changed their whole life, you know? So if anything, I look at people living in their car as smart people. You're one step ahead of getting out of this matrix. So I know Hotel Honda mentioned it, you know, but I'm like, getting out of this matrix, like, you're one step ahead. Like, anybody can continue to keep paying rent, effing off, making other people rich, being miserable. You know, I'm like, one step a little bit closer is living in your car. You start to see those gains. You start to make those different moves, you know. So thank you so much for being here. I always appreciate when you come and comment with us. Let me see. Chad Ramsey said you have to take the weight off of yourself and get rid of it. Yes. When you alleviate that weight off of yourself, you start moving lightly, light like a feather, you know? Like, you start being like, things that I want to do, things that I want to accomplish happen so much easier because you have so much weight on you. I mean, you have so much less weight on you. We're used to operating at a level of being held down by weight, for lack of better words. When you take that weight off of you, you're like operating at a level of like, oh, it's not so heavy. It's like, imagine you lifting weights and you're trying to lift 500 pounds versus lifting weights and you're trying to lift 100. You're going to see a difference. You know, you're going to be like, oh, this isn't so hard. So I feel you. Mike Davis, you say you want to do what I'm doing so bad. Do it. What's holding you back? You got a whole community here supporting you. Any resources you need, join our Discord. We got you. There's plenty of people out here doing it. We can help you through it. Oh my God, Queen Twizzy's in here. What's up, sis? She said, hey, Bria, miss you, girl. I'm so proud of you and all your success. Keep going. Oh, thank you so much, love. I haven't seen you in a long time, but I do be following you. I'll be like creeping on your page. And you're so beautiful and you're doing great things. So thank you for your support. Oh, that really just warmed my heart. For y'all don't know Queen Twizzy, I used to work with her. She's so gorgeous. And we've both come a long way in these several years now. Oh, that's so sweet. Chad Ramsey says, yeah, New Orleans, I guess that's why they call it Gator Country, especially when you have red Cajun food and it's also hot and spicy ingredients, Creole. Yeah, I'm trying to go to New Orleans for Mardi Gras. I've been there several times. I used to go there in college a lot. With all the, like, hurricanes and all that stuff, I've been kind of avoiding it for a little bit. But I'm trying to get back to there, like, in 2023. New Orleans is literally my #1 place to go. I love New Orleans. I would live there if it wasn't for all the, like, issues, to say the least. Like, but it is a beautiful place. The people who live there are beautiful. I love New Orleans people. I love the accents, everything. All right, y'all, let's get through this list. We're on number 8 out of 10. Social benefits to living in your car. Number 8 is going to be less stress, less expectations, playing more and working less. So, I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but I'm definitely less stressed. I live in my car. I don't pay rent. I've set up certain boundaries for me and relationships with people where I can have access to coming indoors, showering, different things like that. So when I was living in my apartment, there was way more stress in regards to just being able to maintain like all the bills. So now that I don't have all those bills, like, that's honestly the best thing I can say. Like, just my happiness overall, my ability to engage with other people, be happy for other people, be there for other people, has just skyrocketed because I'm not in such a miserable place, you know? Everybody's heard the whole idea of like misery loves company. So it's not even something personal like, oh, you're a miserable person, you're a bad person. No, but if you're in a miserable place of your life, you're going to attract misery. Like, it's really difficult for you to spread happiness when you're in a miserable place in your life. So I've worked very hard to be in a less stressful place, a less miserable place in my life, so that I can spread that light to other people. And I think that living in my car and not worrying so much about maintaining a high ass rent in Midtown and maintaining an image, you know, it's kind of like taking that weight off my shoulders a little bit, where I'm not really worried about that. So on top of that, because I'm not worried about maintaining an image and money wise, I've stopped working as hard. Like, I used to work like 3 jobs, and Queen Tizzy can probably tell y'all, like, when she knew me, we were working together. Like, I worked my 9 to 5 job full time. I worked at the club as a cocktail waitress. Like, I was 2 seconds from being a stripper if I would have known how to dance, but I don't. So I was just a cocktail waitress. And then I also worked at the beauty supply store where we met each other. So I had like 3 jobs. I was just busting my ass. I'm paying high ass rent. This time I was living in like Sandy Springs, Roswell, and I had like a 3-bedroom apartment on the river. I was doing so good. I had my car. My apartment got broken into by a girl that I was supposed to trust, you know? So you never know what you can be going through or the price that that's going to cost. But I feel like one of the main benefits of living in my car is that I no longer have that stress of trying to maintain that lifestyle, which has put less expectations on myself to perform. So I don't work at the club anymore. I don't work at the beauty supply. I work my 9 to 5 and I barely work there, honey. I be quiet quitting, for real. I be like, look, y'all got me. I be on my computer like, y'all lucky if I type 2 sentences today. Like, I'm really trying, you know? And I just do what I can do to take care of myself. And it's really not that hard because I live in my car, you know? So that's the number 8 benefit. Less stress, less expectations. You can play more. My money goes towards traveling, hanging out, effing off, talking to guys, doing whatever. Like, it just doesn't go towards paying rent or anything like that, you know? I feel like it's just less stress. Like, I just can't even go back to the person I was when I worked 3 jobs. Like, I can never go back to that. I'm too over that. Y'all lucky if I don't retire in the next 2 years, honestly. Like, I'm trying to get up out of here. I'm trying to get this YouTube money. I'm trying to get some residual income. Some, you know, I'm trying to move on. I'm not trying to work for nobody in the next few years. So yeah, living in your car, it can bring that to you, where if you're working super hard to maintain bills, maybe you could benefit from living in your car. You just be a little bit less stressed. You don't have to work as much. Like, you could be like, I'm not working, bye, I sleep in my car. What you gonna say to me? Can you imagine? Like, I work a 9 to 5 job. Can you imagine if my boss was like, you need to work more, you're not doing enough, this is gonna affect your pay? I would be like, bro, I live in my car. Like, I'm not doing nothing else for you. Why don't you pay me enough so that I can live in Midtown in my apartment with no worries? Oh, no? Okay, so I'm gonna do the bare minimum. That's just how I feel. That's how I feel. Y'all better stop stressing for these companies. They don't care about you. You could be dead on the street. They wouldn't care. Stop stressing about it. Let's see. Head Ghost says, hello, how are you this holidays? I'm good. I have plans on going to Myrtle Beach for Christmas, so that should be fun. It should be cold, but hopefully I can get some good content for y'all, and I'm excited to take a road trip because I haven't been on the road in a little bit. I think, what was my last trip? Was it Miami? Yeah, I think my last trip was Miami, and I flew there, so I haven't been on a road trip in a little bit, so I'm excited for that. Chad Ramsey says, yeah, I remember about Tyler Perry. He was living in his car. That's what I'm saying. Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey. I'm sorry, I always get Oprah Winfrey. Yes. So those are 2 huge names, and they were both living in their car, sleeping on if you want, judge it if you want, see me in 5 years. Queen Twizzy says, yes, girl, you inspired me so much. Girl, I remember when I met you, I didn't even have my passport. Now I've been to 3 countries, all in under 1 year, all because of you. Oh my God. So I saw you traveling and doing your thing, and I was honestly like, this girl was meant to do this. Like, she was been supposed to do this. Like, I always saw that in you. I could see that you were somebody who really just wanted to expand past what we were experiencing at that time in our life. So I'm so happy for you. I've always loved and supported you from a distance, but I'm so happy that you jumped in the chat, girl. I didn't even know you were into YouTube like that. I'll be trying to follow up with you on Instagram. But yes, I mean, travel's for everybody. Like, this lifestyle is for everybody. Like, whether you live in your car, have an apartment, or whatever it is, whatever you can afford, do your thing. But I love to see people traveling and expanding their, like, boundaries. Like, I hate when I know people who, like, oh, I grew up here and I've only been here and I only know people from here. I'm like, you need to get out there and, like, do something with your life. Like, experience. Like, you've been to places I haven't even been to, so let's keep it going. Let's keep setting that trend for other girls like us to get out there, travel, be independent. And for y'all who don't know, she has a whole daughter. Like, I'm doing this. I ain't got no kids. I have a cat. Like, I love my cat. She's a handful, but I recognize 100% she is not a child. Like, I admire anybody out here living this lifestyle, doing what's best for them, living their best life, even when they have kids. Because you don't know how many people come in here and be like, oh, I can't do that because I have kids. And I'm like, yes, you can. Like, I've seen people do it. I've seen Queen Twizzy do it. So follow her if y'all want to see. And she's on Instagram under the same name. Yes. Head Goat, you said it's not safe for young ladies to work in those places at night. I'm going to give you the opportunity to change that because you will get kicked up out of here for that. We're not being sexist, none of that. It's not about young ladies. There's nothing that's more safe for men over ladies. Like, stop it. We're going to stop it right there because I'm not even sure what you're referring to. Okay, moving on. Number 9 out of 10 out of the social benefits for living in your car is going to be that you can travel more and grow, which is similar to what I was talking to Queen Twizzy about. You can meet new people. You can meet people online. You become more open-minded. So since living in my car, I've saved a lot of money. I have plans next year to, like, go international. I'm still trying to figure out my location because there's so many things you have to consider, like safety, the exchange rate, if you need a visa. Like, there's so many things to consider. But overall, I feel like living in your car does give you the opportunity to travel more because obviously you're not paying rent. A lot of that money can go in towards planning trips, especially international trips. A lot of these tickets are ranging anywhere from like $600 and up to go out of the country, depending on if you're taking a flight or like driving or a ferry or something like that. But you definitely want to be mindful of that. And when you live in your car, I think it's just something that you have to be a little bit less mindful of. Like, I'm able to save a certain amount of money in a month where if I want to go book a flight, it's really not as difficult. I know when I had my apartment and I wanted to book a trip, oh my God, I had to plan like a year ahead, damn near. I had to plan like damn near a year ahead because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna have the money for this. Let me see what bills are coming, different things like that. But now that I live in my car, I think that I have enough saved on a regular basis where when it comes to booking international flights, even domestic flights, typically domestic, I will drive because I like doing road trips as long as it's not too far. But yeah, you do have that space to kind of book ahead of time. Like, I'm trying to plan a trip for my birthday, which is May 4th, the day before Cinco de Mayo. And I'm already looking at flights right now. Like, I'm looking at Airbnbs right now. I don't even know if I want to get an Airbnb. I might just get a hotel because I think we may have leveled up to that point. Like, I don't know. But yeah, when it comes to travel, it's definitely something you want to do on a ahead of a time basis. And that's very hard to do when you're living paycheck to paycheck and trying to pay off your rent. So I've noticed that now that I live in my car, it's much more easier for me to plan travel and for me to not feel like I'm kind of broke. Like, it's like you get the flight and then you get there and you're broke and you're penny pinching. I'm like, no, like, I haven't been penny pinching for the last like half a year probably, which is less than I would like to say, honestly. But I told myself, I'm like, 2022 is my last year being broke. Like, 2023, I'm doing what I want to do, period, when I want to do it. And that's off the back of me living in my car damn near all of 2022, at least half of it, you know? So yeah, that's number 9. You can travel more. And of course, we all know that traveling makes you grow as a person. Nobody staying in one same place with the same people has ever grown. So every year I feel like I'm evolving because of the travel situations I get myself into and just putting myself outside of my box. Let's see. Queen Twizzy says, LOL, yes, I even got my daughter her passport, so she will be traveling with me very soon. And yes, I'll be on YouTube. I'm just now starting back, though, LOL. I'll be on TikTok more than YouTube and IG. Oh, my God. So I remember both your kids, and they're both so cute. I remember the little boy. I don't even know how it works. I'm like, can you get a passport for little babies like that? Or they're like, just bring them on. Just bring them with you, you know? I would love to see them somewhere else. You start them off early, girl. You set them kids up right. Get your kids traveling early. Get them open-minded early. That's what we need. Because I know me as a kid, I didn't go outside this country or even remotely do any traveling other than between Ohio and Atlanta because my parents got divorced and they split. But it was like, I didn't go nowhere until I was 16. And it blew my mind to the point where when I got back to America, I was so depressed because I was like, just so throwed the fuck off. I was like, I done been to a whole nother country. What is going on? You know, but I'm like, if you get your kids at an early age to understand, like, not everybody lives like you. Like, everybody lives very differently. And there's cultures and there's things to appreciate in different places. Like, oh my God, you're like growing the type of people we need in this country. Like, thank you. There's so many like shitty ass people in this country. I'm like, we need more people like you raising children who are more like open-minded and know what's going on. That's amazing. I was 16 when I got my passport, and I was lucky because I got to study abroad. But I know a lot of people, like even my friend, my best friend, he didn't get his passports. He was like 25, or no, 24, because it was for my 25th birthday. It was like, get your passport. I'm trying to go out of this country. He's like, oh, I ain't never had a passport before. Oh, I never thought about it. You know, and I'm like, we are grown as hell. We need to be living this life and you know, just embracing it. So good for you, sis. I'm happy for you. Michelle Love says, love your channel. Thank you so much. Queen Twizzy says, if I didn't have kids and was married or had a boyfriend or something too, I definitely would live in my car to save money and travel. Yeah, so I always tell people, I'm like, if you have kids, you definitely gotta consider this lifestyle in a different way. Like, I'm single, I don't have no kids, so it's easier for me to come on here and just be like, oh, live in your car, save money. Like, I know that's not the case for everybody, but a lot of people are able to benefit off their lifestyle regardless if they live in a car or not. I just think some people don't really have the wherewithal or the resources necessarily sometimes. Like, some people are really just in a hole and they can't get themselves out of the hole. So that may not always be the case for you, and especially if you have kids, you got to do what's best for those kids. But obviously you've been able to make it work regardless. I would say that when you have kids, you literally just have to be a stronger person. Like, I could sit here and be like, I'm strong and I travel and I do me, but I don't have no kids, you know? So I'm like, if you're able to do the same thing that I do when you have kids, like, you're even stronger than me. Because I truthfully do want kids. I don't really know when, but I think one day it'd be amazing if I had kids, but I have to consider all those things. I have to consider, like, what does my lifestyle look like when I want to travel and experience things and I have kids. I have to consider the fact that they're going to be a part of that. Like, they're going to be with me, and I have to consider them in every decision that I make. So I always, like, honor and really look up to people who are able to make those decisions because that's where I want to be one day. But you got this. Me, myself, and my car says, again, it was another wonderfully lifting chat. Stay safe. Everybody take care and be kind. My hands are too cold to hold this damn phone. Time for bed. All right, get some rest. Hit us up in the Discord. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, y'all, let me go ahead and do my last one because I know obviously everybody wants to get up out of here. Number 10 of the 10 benefits to living in your car. This one specifically is social, and my last one is going to be, you stop caring what people think, you stop caring about other people's opinions, and you're just a happier overall person. So that is my last and final pro to living in a car. Since I've been living in my car, I really just don't care. It's something that it took a while to like grow, but I really have a very bare minimum concern about other people's opinions about me or what I'm doing. I keep my circle very small, and there's a handful of people who I actually value their opinion about me. especially with growing my YouTube channel. I have over 7,000 subscribers. So you have a lot of people commenting and saying different things about your lifestyle. A lot of these people actually wish they could be living your lifestyle. So over time, I had to like get that chip off my shoulder of feeling some type of way about people judging me or saying how they feel about my life or praying to God for my salvation or like so many things, like just being like, oh, you know, where are your parents? Where's your daddy? You know, and I'm like, I'm not young. I'm damn near 30, you know, so I just had to get to a point where I was like, I don't care anymore. And I think if you live in your car and you have people shitting on you for living in your car for long enough, at some point you're going to stop caring. You're just going to be like, well, you can talk about me all you want, but I'm still going to live in my car after this. So it is what it is. You know, I think it's easier to care about what people think when we're all judging each other based off of the same lifestyle. So if I had an apartment, I had a car, I had a job, you could judge me based off of you having an apartment, a car, and a job, and who has better, who what. And I'm like, me living in my car, like there's no judgment. You live in your car, you're basically homeless. You know, so I'm like, there really is no judgment. I'm no better than anyone else living in their car. I can't be like, oh, I'm better than you because I have a Hyundai. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. So I just feel like living this lifestyle has really grown me a tough skin where I was like, I just don't care. If you don't agree with my lifestyle, cool. If you don't like my lifestyle, cool. If you feel bad for me, cool. But I'm like, there's so many people who have just embraced me with love that I've just appreciated it, and it's encouraged me to continue living this lifestyle and to encourage other people to continue living this lifestyle. So yeah, that's my number 10 benefit of living in your car is confidence. Stop caring what people think. Don't worry about people's opinions about what you're doing, because 99.9% of the time living in your car, people are not going to agree with you, honey. So you can already go ahead and get used to that. And it just grows a tough shell pretty fast. Like, you already know people going to hate on you, so you're used to it, you know? So I'll hit up this chat one last time, and then we're going to get out of here. This stream actually went longer than I thought. I really appreciate all y'all hanging out with me, because I had no clue y'all would be this into these topics, or that I would have enough spit in my mouth to continue talking about it. But let me see. Queen Twizzy says, yes, traveling with kids is amazing, but definitely gives me anxiety from time to time. I wonder if your kids do well on travel, or do they not like being in the car or being on the plane? I know some kids like cry a lot when they're on the plane, or get like motion sickness when they're in the car, things like that. But some people have kids who are riders. Like, I don't know, you put them to sleep, wake up in the new destination, they be good to go. I really do want to take like a road trip with somebody with kids. I don't know why, but I just do. I just want to see like if I can handle it. But I love kids, so I'm not one of those people who's going to be like, shut up, because they're crying on the plane. I'm like, they're crying because they're not feeling good. Their ears are popping or something. Like, be more like empathetic. Some people are just jerks. But I love me some kids. I think I'm gonna be a good auntie one day. A good old auntie. Like, all the kids is gonna want to hang out with me because I'm the fun auntie. Chad Ramsey says, yeah, I would like to travel to Canada and watch the Canadian Football League up close in person. That would be really nice. Canada is actually on my bucket list of international places to travel. I really want to go to Canada. I just know that it's going to be comparable to being in the US, and I'm a little cheap right now. So I'm like, can I go somewhere else that's cheaper? Like, going to Canada is like going to New York or something. I'm like, okay, let me get this YouTube check one more time, and then we can see about Canada. Northern Downpour says, thank you for taking the time to share the social and financial benefits. Take care. Thank you so much, love. And with that being said, I hope all you guys have an enjoyable Thursday night. I know I got to get bed. I got to work tomorrow morning. I got to work 9 to 5 tomorrow. And then I'm preparing for my trip to Myrtle Beach on Saturday. I'm going to be doing some live streaming. And I'm also going to be doing a vlog for you guys during my Christmas vacation time. So again, thank you all for hanging out with me tonight and listening to these 10 benefits of living in a car. If you have any questions, leave a comment. You can join our Discord group. The link is in the community chat. If it's expired, let me know. I'll post another one, and I usually post one every 2 days or so. And again, I hope you all have a good night. And if you're sleeping in your car, stay warm, and peace.